Welcome to the second episode of the Grip It and Rip It podcast with yours truly, Chris Stockwell, and
yours not truly, Daniel Tops.
It's a Grip It and Rip It sports podcast with Stock and Tops.
Oh yeah, baby, you know what it is.
And we're here to bring you whatever it is that you want.
Yeah, we're here to make your dreams come true.
Along with some
while we talk about sports
banter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully this remains entertaining for you.
Yeah, sports, comedy, hot takes, the whole nine.
We're not afraid.
We are not afraid, and you're about to find that out for sure.
We have a lot of burning things going on right now. It's a great time for sports. There's tons of stuff. So we can go right into headlines just so we can get a little overview of everything, and then we'll dive down into some nitty-gritty topics.
Oh, yeah, baby. Let's get into it.
So the very...
Oh, hang on. First off, I'm sorry. We just wanted to point this out. We are sponsoring Cane's Chicken Fingers today. We are not sponsoring the Raiders, even though this is a Raiders Cup. Fuck the Raiders, change your name, and then come to Vegas. Other than that, we don't want you.
We're not on board until you guys change the name.
Yeah. You change the name, we're cool. So go City of Oakland, win your lawsuit. Go Canes, too. Now we can do the headlines.
Cool. So the first thing that we want to bring up is that it has been made official that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will be called up to the big leagues here on Friday.
Oh, dude. I would say he's probably one of the most exciting prospect call-ups in
since Bryce.
I was going to say Bryce, and I think that's probably it. Dude, the guy rakes.
He's more well-known than Bryce. Because
I don't know if I'd go that far necessarily, but I would say he's probably close. I mean, he's got, based upon the name alone, obviously, he's going to have a following, but Bryce was huge too.
He has been absolutely destroying for AAA Buffalo. In his last 12 games, he's hitting .367 with a .424 on-base percentage and a .700 OPS. That's pretty solid. He has also hit, 3 home runs in his last 8 games, so he's
got 3 home runs in the last 8 games. He's only played 12 because he had the oblique injury to start the year.
But he's live and he's ready to be called up.
Wish I had him on the fantasy squad.
Yeah,
but I don't.
I mean, you had to pick him early. Even still, people been sitting on him, right?
Yeah, dude. In the draft boards, he was in the rank in the top 60, I think, and he hadn't even taken a swing in the MLB yet.
And I'm sure in dynasty leagues, he went first and second round.
He went early in my dynasty league, yeah. But dude, he's gonna be so excited. I'm pumped to watch him because I'm really ready. The name, let alone seeing Vlad Guerrero play again, that's just kind of tight. Right?
And he's with the same team that he came up with, that his dad came up with. And I mean, we've known about Vlad Guerrero Jr. for
long time,
probably 2-3 years now. It's finally here. We're finally gonna see it.
So yeah, that's gonna be some exciting stuff.
Very, very exciting. Moving on, Tyreek Hill, along with his fiance, will not face criminal charges following the child abuse investigation.
It's I don't want to say good for him. Yeah, congrats, you're still a piece of shit. But
yeah, you obviously don't want to be tied up in any type of criminal investigation, but especially surrounding domestic violence. I mean, we're not here to say whether or not it happened. I mean, a lot of times where there's smoke, there's fire.
Exactly. Right. So yeah, it's is it probably something along the lines of, either she's getting some type of money or I don't know. I'm not going to assume,
Well, I think that there's no video evidence.
There's no
video evidence.
There's no lockdown hardcore evidence to it. It's all, he said, she said type stuff. So
they can't really be charged. Now, what the NFL is going to do remains to be seen.
Exactly.
They could still take action here and suspend him.
And honestly, I think they should. He just has a history. If he didn't have a history, I'm all for second chances and whatnot.
I think that's most likely that he will receive some.
He's got to get something.
6, 8 games, something like this. Yeah. I think it's going to be serious. I think it's going to be serious. Now, whether or not he appeals and prolongs it like Zeke did before, we don't know. But I would still look for a suspension to be levied from the NFL.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be angry if they did it. I mean, like I said, you said it right. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Usually.
He's got a history of it already.
And he's got a track record. Yeah. So, let's...
Hopefully he, face your suspension like a man, even though charges are being dropped.
And learns, again.
And hopefully...
he uses this as a learning experience because not everybody gets the same chances,
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt, there was a video. He didn't get a second chance. with the Chiefs.
Not with the Chiefs.
They
with
cut
the Browns now. But
yeah, that's true.
But he's still suspended. Was it 8 games?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe 4, maybe 6 for Tyreek Hill, but I would venture to believe that there will be.
Yeah,
Will
there's
be
got to be
suspension
something.
handed down. An MMA fighter, Joyce Vieira, beat up a man who was fondling himself during a photo shoot.
By fondling, I'm pretty sure we mean jerking off.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had his pants down and was pleasuring himself.
Giving the old rub and tug with Pamela Henderson.
I mean, this Joyce Vieira lady, have you seen her?
I have not.
She looks,
Is she decent
she's
looking?
an MMA fighter.
Let me put it this way. Is she worthy of beating your wiener off at the photo shoot in public and getting your ass kicked afterwards? Hot. That's the question you need to ask
I'll
yourself.
show you, and you let me know what you think, and we'll put a picture up for the viewers as well.
This is going to be interesting. I don't know how to react to this. All right, let's see. You know what? It's like...
So I'm going to go with, that warrants...
Like, obviously, if I was her, don't blame her for beating the shit out of the dude beating his meat at her photo shoot.
But she's not bad to look at.
I'm not going to say she's bad or good. I mean, I feel like I don't know, man. She just beat the shit out of some dude jacking off, so I don't want to talk shit on her too much. Because, like, if she tried to fight me, I'm not going to fight back, so I'm going to lose.
She might whoop both of our asses.
Yeah, like, I'm going to lose guaranteed because I can't hit her back.
If she wants to come on the show and hit us, then she can do
You know
that
what?
too.
Actually, fuck it. She kind of... no. She looks like a man.
She can come
What?
kick the shit out of us. That's fine.
Yeah, you come on down. I don't know. I gave her like a 3. I don't think she'd be worth jacking off to it at a photo shoot. She's got some manly looking qualities.
To qualify that, like, you'd have to be like, oh, yeah, it's totally cool to jerk off in public to somebody. Like, no,
Right.
that shit is fucked up.
But, I mean, everybody's beautiful in their own way. So, hey, you know what? I'm probably going to if we ever get some following, I'm sure I'm going to get some shit for talking shit. But, hey, I'm not that good looking. I am afraid to admit it.
You know who was salty as fuck?
Who?
Paul George. Can we just take a
Paul,
moment?
what does this look like?
That looks like green.
He greened it.
Can we just talk about Damian Lillard and the balls that man has to take that shot?
Brass.
Big.
No, you got to two-hand him.
You've got to want it, man. Not everybody wants the game in their hands like that.
You love a player that does, though. That's why I've always been a big Lillard fan, because he's not afraid of the moment. And fuck, man, that shot was insane. I mean, Paul George played it terribly. Now, granted, I get what he was trying to do, because Paul George is one of the better defenders in the league. And he has the clock right over Lillard's shoulder, so you could see, the time running down. Like, I know he's trying to guard from, it's a tie game. He's not trying to let Lillard get a good shot. I get, letting if someone wants to pull up a 37-footer on you, you let him fucking pull up a 37-footer on you. But at least he could have closed out more than he did.
Well, if you take a look at the play, the tape of the shot, you see Paul George notices that he's pulling, and he jumps it, and he contests that shot before Lillard's even off the ground. The problem is he's just so far away he couldn't get a hand up.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think, and Paul George called it a bad shot. Oh, when people look back, they're not going to remember it as a good shot. No, like, dude, that was a great shot, and you got sprayed. However, with the game being tied, it's easy. There's no harm in Damian Lillard pulling up from there. There was no time left on the clock, period. So, I mean, it's safe. It's good or bad. It's a low percentage shot.
It's a real mixed bag of emotions for me, because it's like I get exactly what Paul George is saying, because if you look at it objectively, you don't look at it, with a game on the line. You don't look at it about time left. It's a terrible fucking shot percentage-wise. It's a low percentage shot. It's 37 feet away. Like, the odds of you making that shot are not very high.
However, there was
a tie game. The clock's running down. Could Damian Lillard possibly have gotten a better shot? Yeah, he probably could have, but I'm sure he practices that shot.
Even at that point with like 2.8 left, there's really not much more he could have done. They didn't get into pick and roll. They didn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't set up. They set it up.
They let him ISO, and he pulled.
And he practices the shot, so it's not like this is just this isn't the 1980s basketball anymore. It's not
or
a fucking
60s or
yeah
50s.
Any era you want. It's not the 90s either. It's not
The early 2000s.
This is literally the era of basketball you're playing in, where we have guys that can hit a 37-foot jump shot fairly regularly. I'm not going to say above a 30% clip, but 25%, 20%, unguarded, uncontested.
Yeah. So more of an amazing hit than a good shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I understand it's a bad shot selection.
Bad shot selection, great shot. The fact that it went in,
but it's not a horrible shot selection. At least he got the shot off. There's something to be said for turning the ball over. Oh, and dude, let's go back up for 2 seconds. For the balls on him to put to
Ron Burgundy balls. That's how big of the balls were.
Yeah, to take the game in his hands and send Westbrook home.
Thank God, though. God,
you called it.
I did. I fucking did.
I don't know if that's on air, but you called.
Did
that.
we do it? We did it in the pilot, right? I talk shit. I talk shit on Westbrook all the time. So
I think we did talk about that in the pilot.
I mean, he's not.
They packed him up and sent him home, dude. I'm a little surprised. I thought that the Thunder would come and give a little bit more, but
I didn't.
The Blazers just Damian Lillard and McCollum. They're a 1-2 punch. Dame has gotten into the discussion of top 5 point guard in the league. I put
him top 3.
I think he's ahead of Russell Westbrook now.
I think I've always had him ahead of Westbrook. People really.
Now you can finally see people's. It's okay, or you can break it down and people can actually look and shift through. Oh, Russell Westbrook is a superstar, right? Like.
The thing with Westbrook is everybody, they always people look at Westbrook and they always give him like the benefit of the doubt because of the triple doubles. And granted, yes, 100% impressive feat in its own right, but there's so much more that goes into that. How many times he's just taking his teammates and letting him get the rebound,
turning the ball over.
He turns the ball over way too
selection.
much. He holds the ball way too much. There's just so much more that goes into it rather than just the numbers that he puts up, right? And he's always been unclutch in the fourth quarter. He's always had. His shooting percentages in the fourth quarter is fucking abysmal, and he's never been that great in the playoffs.
Nope.
And he's got a track record. There's a history to it, And,
absolutely.
I'm just not a fan of the guy. I'll to the day I die, I won't be a fan of Westbrook just because of the whole KD Westbrook situation. When you have Kevin Durant, who was at the time and still is, the second best player in the league, and some people might even consider KD first now because LeBron's getting older. But
I think that even after this last season, there's a 3-headed race between Giannis, Durant, and LeBron.
Yeah, I think
the
so.
top 3.
But you go back to the OKC days with Durant, and you got fucking Westbrook that's averaging more shots than him 2 years in a row. How does your point guard average more shots than the best offensive scorer in the league 2 years straight? And it was more than just 2 years, but he did it 2 years straight before KD left.
Because he's wired as a shooting guard.
It's just awful. He's
a shooting guard that has to play point guard.
So, yeah, I'm happy. I've always thought – I've actually liked Damian Lillard way more than Westbrook for the last couple years.
I'm glad to see him finally break through and people be able to put him ahead of Westbrook.
Yeah.
I don't –
I'm good. I'm rooting for the Blazers. I've always liked the Blazers. I got no problem with the Blazers.
So, our last headline for the day is
here we go.
A horrible thing.
Fucking go.
That came.
So this will be the last fucking time we talk about hockey for the next 5 months.
For the extended future.
Extended. I might not even talk about it fucking next year because I'm still going to be mad. Should we just tell the headline or should I just rant?
No, the headline is the Knights collapse in the third.
Ass.
With the 3-0 lead. Now, that can obviously be mentioned with an asterisk.
Yeah. Fucking put a big-ass asterisk right around the word collapse.
That's not my word.
Not your word. Whoever wrote that word. Any fucking newspaper, any sports analyst, article, whatever. Take that word collapse, choke, whatever word you want to use. Take it, shove it so far up your ass so that it comes out your mouth again, regurgitated as a fucking piece of shit, and then eat it again. Because that's how much I care about you. That was one of the worst officiating calls I've ever witnessed.
If you don't know exactly what we're talking about, as some people might not be fully into hockey, just to give you a little breakdown, the Knights were up 3-0 with about 10:30 left in the third period. They're up 3-0.
Dominating the entire game.
You're
100%.
up 3-0 in the third, halfway through the third in hockey. Like the game's over, dude.
Yeah. Pretty much.
But the thing is, like, every
You-
single person was like, oh, well, we might make it to the finals. We might do this. We might do that. But what happened was Cody Eakin was facing off against Joe Pileski in the
It's a face-off.
face-off in the Knights on the Knights side of the ice.
Mm-hmm.
The Sharks won the face-off. Eakin gives a slight cross-check to Pavelski,
Which is something that happens on
about
every face-off
on about
practically.
50, literally on about 50% of the face-offs, there's a slight cross-check from the loser. Like it's just what it is.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Now, what happened from there is where it gets a little froggy.
Paul Stastny.
Pavelski was falling and was going to the ground, and Stastny's
He stumbled. He practically
and he was
tripped.
going to go to the ground, and Stastny was coming to
He was
block,
coming to get out on the puck.
On the puck to block the shot.
Yep.
Now, Eakin's check bounced Pavelski into Stastny.
And Stastny knocked him over.
Stastny knocked him over, and his head, Pavelski's head, bounced off the ice.
And let me
causing some serious bleeding. Like you were
yeah,
concerned.
no.
For
Let me say this too. Before, obviously, I'm going to go on a rant, and we're both upset about this whole thing. But I do want to make mention because, granted, we joke around. I call a lot of people assholes, and we have the piece of shit of the day and whatnot. And we like the hot takes. And we like to have fun with it, but
we're never wanting somebody hurt.
yeah, no, nobody
We're not ever
wants to
rooting
see that.
for somebody to get hurt.
We're
period.
not saying by any means the referee's fuckery yesterday, and we're hating on Pavelski. Like you don't want to see that. Obviously, he was legitimately hurt. You saw the blood on the ice. It looked bad. It seems bad. Hopefully, everything is okay and he comes out of it fine and there's no problems. We're wishing all the best to Pavelski and, a quick recovery to whatever happened.
Where it turned is about 5 seconds after his head hit the ground.
It was once the fucking referees realized that he was bleeding.
And no penalty had been called.
That's the problem.
No penalty was called upon the face-off. 5 seconds later, they noticed he was hurt. They stopped play. And then without any type of review.
Apparently, according to what I've read today, it came down from Toronto. The head officiating office came down.
They issued a 5-minute major
for something they had no idea about.
Now, you didn't see. They didn't see it.
No.
Now, if you don't know, a 5-minute. So in hockey, there's different levels of penalties.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, what you see a regular penalty is a 2-minute releasable penalty, where if the team scores a goal, the penalty is released. You're back to full strength. Now, in this situation,
but in a major penalty, that's not what happens.
With a major, Cody Eakin goes to the box for 5 minutes. And actually ends up getting...
He got ejected.
Tossed. And the power play is not releasable.
You are on the power play for 5 minutes.
For 5 whole minutes. So regardless of the fact that the Sharks scored 7 seconds into the power play, that penalty is not released. So we're playing man down for another 4 minutes and 53 seconds.
Yep.
49 seconds later, they scored the second one.
It was like 2:40 or something.
And then a minute and a half later, they scored the third one. And then a minute after that, they scored the fourth one.
Yep.
In about 4 minutes and 8 seconds of game time, the score went from 3-0 Knights to 4-3.
It's still upsetting because it's still
Sharks.
Such absolute trash. I will say this: the entire narrative of this would be different if that referee, I don't know how the judges, what their names are in hockey, but if that back judge, the one that sits behind I'm guessing like a line judge or something, the face-off, if his arm fucking goes up right when the cross-check happens, so there's a penalty on the play, I probably don't say a word. I probably do not say a word. It's the fact that the referees, there was no call on the ice because they watched the fucking face-off, so they obviously seen the little cross-check that always happens, but once Pavelski went down and he laid there because he was legitimately injured and he was bleeding, they made an assumption that something bad must have happened, and they called a 5-minute major without having any actual knowledge of the situation.
Yeah, and I think that they ended up saying like he threw his hand with a check at his head.
At first, they said that there was a cross-check to the head. That's what they said
and that
at first.
obviously didn't happen.
Yeah, he barely cross-checked him above the waist.
It was just an unfortunate event of how he was falling.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. You don't want to see anybody get hurt. The thing is, I would have much rather Pavelski not gotten injured because then we're going to win the game for sure because they couldn't stop us 5 on 5.
At the very end of the day, like to take the series away from the Knights like that is just...
It's cheap. It's a fucking robbery.
And there were issues in Game 5 with officiating as well.
There's issues in all... I feel like I was suspicious the entire series of how many penalties the Knights were getting called on them.
2-minute minor, Okay. Fine.
Yeah, at most.
For them to
for that.
them to take that game away, I think is wrong. I've got a nice quote from Jonathan Marchessault, who's one of the best players.
Love it. Please let the audience know what he had to say.
This is a quote from Jonathan Marchessault, who's our sniper. He's a sniper, bro.
Yeah, he is a sniper. He's the one that scored the goal that tied the game, going to even get us to overtime.
Hope, but unfortunately, he just ran out of gas.
Yeah.
I really hope Joe Pavelski is okay. You never want to see something bad like that happen. But it's a fucking joke. To call 5 minutes for that, why don't you have hockey replay or something? It changed the whole outcome of the game. Like, seriously, what is that? It's so disappointing. The game's not even close. It's 3-0. Call a 2-minute minor? Okay, but 5 for something you don't even see? You just call the outcome? It's a fucking joke. It's embarrassing. That's what it is. And then he went on to say... If it was stolen, he was asked if the game was stolen. He said, "Yeah, absolutely. It was 3-0 with 10 minutes left. They scored four goals stolen on the power play. They came in clutch and they fed off a bad call, and they got the big goal in overtime. They're a great hockey team, but it's embarrassing." And
I've been listening to people talk,
and he even compared it to the Saints.
To the Saints. This is twice now. In the last two playoffs of the two major sports,
NFL now
we've
hockey.
had officiating determine outcomes of games. It's uncalled for. It's not what the officials are there for. They're there to manage the game. To officiate.
They need to take the deciding of games out.
They do.
Like that. That is ridiculous. There's no way. And obviously it was an overreaction to the guy being hurt. And again, we preface this. We never want to see somebody hurt, but let's be reasonable about this.
You're playing a fucking sport where
it wasn't It wasn't a cheap shot.
No, it wasn't at all. It
was an unfortunate event of how this happened. Cody Eakin did not go out of his way to hurt him. Neither was it Stasny?
Yeah, it was Stasny.
Stasny did not go out of his way. What are you going to do? We got burned.
We got screwed, and what pisses me off more is, one, I don't know, maybe it's the competitor in me, but I can't fucking, if I was a Sharks player, the way that they acted and the way that they handled the situation just fucking infuriates me even more so, because it's like, I listened to the San Jose, I listened to the California broadcast a little bit, I was watching it, how they celebrated and whatnot, if I was one of them, I couldn't even be fucking happy. I could not celebrate on that ice because I couldn't, in my heart of hearts, actually accept the fact that I won that way. Obviously, I'd have to accept it.
There are people defending it and saying that the Knights choked, and saying that
they don't know they don't know sports. They don't know shit.
Hockey. The goalie should have stopped the puck. They should have killed the penalty. But
it's a 5-minute major. There's a reason
you were man down for 5 minutes.
There's a reason minor infractions, power plays, are released after you score one goal. It's because it's really fucking hard to play a man down. There's a reason that people
Could you imagine the run a basketball team would go on if they got
5-on-4?
If they got to play 5-on-4 for 4 minutes? 5 minutes?
Just out of curiosity, I want to see the power play percentages, the top power play units in the NHL. Because those people that are saying, they choked and, they blew a 3-1 lead. First off, in any sport, you can win on any given day. Yeah, having a 3-1 lead is great, but no fucking lead is ever safe. Okay? The Knights had, 63 or 68 shots on Martin Jones
the other night?
In Game 6?
Yeah.
Okay? That is absolute domination, and we fucking lost that game. We lost that game. You can't have a much better game because we just couldn't get it in the fucking net.
That's what we talked about, man. We needed Game 6. We didn't want to go into Game 7.
We did not want to go to Game 7.
This is exactly what we were afraid of happening by us not getting Game 6. What'd you find? Anything?
I'm doing the math real quick. So, Tampa Bay scored 74 goals out of 262 attempts. That's 28%. That means out of every 4 power plays that Tampa Bay gets, actually more so, they score a goal. 1 out of every 4. And people think they want to use the word choke. Playing on the fucking power play is easy.
Yeah, so you get 1 playing the power penalty kill.
And you get it in 2 minutes. They had 5.
Right.
You get 2 minutes normally. They had 5 minutes of 5-on-4 hockey.
I'm still bewildered. I can't even believe it. It hurts, man.
If I was the Knights, this is just me, and this is just my competitive nature, just watching them revel in it and try to celebrate and, act like they actually won the game. I can't stand when people pretend and act like they did something to win something when really it was given to you. Like, accept your win. Just walk the fuck off the ice. If I was the Knights, I wouldn't. I know I'll probably get flack for this because I'm not a big hockey guy in the first place, and it's like a tradition or something because they after a hockey game we shake hands like men, and if I was the Knights, I would have fucking walked off the ice. I would have fucking left. Fuck the Sharks. Fuck the officiating. I would have walked off. I would not have shook their hands, and I would have went to the media room, and I would have said exactly what I'm saying now. They got absolutely cheated. It was ridiculous. The NHL should be embarrassed. That officiating crew should be embarrassed. And you're going to see change happen. You're going to see a rule change happen next year because of what just went down. It's unbelievable.
It's not right.
It's unbelievable.
So now that we've hit the AC and cooled down for a moment.
Needed it.
I'm still boiling after that.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it still. It keeps coming back to my mind like every so often. I just think about it and it's just like the absolute fuckery is beyond comprehension.
So we can talk about something that we like a little bit more.
Yeah, let's go to something we like, because guess what? Hockey's fucking done. You won't hear a thing about hockey in this fucking podcast unless the Knights get a big player or something off in the offseason.
If they miraculously get Game 7 overturned.
Yeah, right.
Wait, that's...
The Knights signed Connor McDavid.
That's not... That would be nice. Okay, we can go ahead and talk about some baseball now. Not too much going on, obviously. We'll ebb and flow about baseball. Just real quick, the Yankees have activated Gary Sanchez.
It's good news for them. Yankees have been by far the most injury-riddled team thus far, so it's good. I mean, I'm not a Yankees fan by any means, but if you want the best teams to have their best players. You don't want them to have to fucking lose a season based upon not having the best guys out there. So that's good for them.
He helps them in ways that you don't see on paper.
Dude could swing it.
But he's a underrated hitter, I think. He gets flack for the way that he approaches the game, but he's a very, very dangerous hitter, and he does give you some stuff behind the plate too.
Yeah, he's not a bad catcher by any means.
No, so just having him back is really going to benefit Judge and Stanton over everything else. But
the Judge is out for a little while now.
That's right.
Yep.
Just last couple days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, hopefully it's not too serious.
I think it's oblique again, isn't it?
Those are always the worst.
Yeah, it is.
Especially for baseball.
Especially if you got a fucking turn, man.
It's not good for him.
No. But, it's good for them.
Blake Snell, speaking of injuries, with fucking Diggler.
Yeah, you just pulled a Diggler. Dumbass. You're so fucking unprofessional.
Thanks.
Yeah, you can't miss an opportunity like that.
Never. Luckily, I cut these, so.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Blake Snell.
And additional, let's put this here so you can riff too. It's not like I want to hoard. It's, in additional injury news, Blake Snell has returned from the IL.
Mm-hmm.
He pitched today, which is Wednesday.
Just an average Wednesday.
3 1/3 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. So he's on a slight pitch count, but
yeah, he'll be fine.
It's good to see that he's back quickly, and looks like everything's full go ahead for him. He should be back to dominating that rotation here shortly.
Indeed, he will. Dude's filthy. Nastiest curveball, nastiest off speed for a lefty in the game right now, I'd say.
Yeah, he's a legitimate ace.
Oh yeah, by far.
I like him a lot.
He's a Cy Young winner.
We talked about his, the money he got, and I felt like he could have gotten more, but at the same time,
money's money.
He's locked in for the long haul, so it takes the pressure off, or wondering, what's next, because obviously, we're both excited to see Vlad Guerrero Jr. be called up to the majors on Friday. It's a big deal. We've been waiting a long time for this. He's going to do well, I think.
He did.
But
should.
Another guy that we have been following for a while is Justice Sheffield. He's a pitcher. He got traded to the Mariners, but he's on his way too. He looked to be a little erratic to start the year, but he had a quality start the other night, and it's looking like it's just a matter of time for him.
He came from the Yankees, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Dude.
He's a lefty, I think.
Yeah, yeah, you never know what prospects. That's the thing. Is like you have the surefire ones, like the Vlad Guerreros, the guys that are, the Fernando Tatises, the Eloy Jimenezes. The surefire doesn't seem like they're gonna miss prospects because all 3 of those guys, or 2 of them so far, and I expect Vlad to do big things. So far, they've all come up to the major league level. They've had,
Success.
they've had success in the early part of the season. They're only going to get better from there. Those guys aren't going to get worse. Tatis is hitting like 270. I think Eloy's was out for this series because his grandmother died. So, condolences to him. But he was hitting like 250 before he left, and he's had it up past over 300. So he's
giving you some power too.
Oh yeah, dude, he crushed with like 458 the other day. Vlad Guerrero, I think, is going to come in with a fucking authority! Exclamation point.
Is he going to be enough? Like, can he bring them a pennant? Like,
I don't think they have the pitching staff.
No.
I think he's going to bring people to the seats.
That's the most.
I think he's
going to
do. Yeah, I think he's going to do a great job
selling tickets
and
merch,
and getting excitement up for Toronto Blue Jays baseball. Whether he's going to turn that. I mean, the team, they're doing okay. They're in third place, I think, right now. But do I see them sustaining success over the course of the season? No.
But it should be up and down for them. But I'd like to see him
with the ticket sales and the excitement. People are, that can attract free agents.
Yeah, for sure, that too.
So that's big.
And Toronto's a decent place to play baseball.
I've heard Toronto's a great city.
They've got a new, and they've got a new ballpark too, right?
No, they're still in the Rogers Center.
Same one.
I like the Rogers Center. I like Toronto.
I think there's talks. We'll have to look into it, but I think there's talks for a new building. But that would be cool too.
But Justin Sheffield, time will tell with him. He looks like he's got pretty nasty stuff. I can't say that I've done a whole bunch of scouting on him when he was in the minor leagues. I know the name, and I know he's pitched well as of recent.
He's our next guy. Like, he's the one that I'm bringing to the table.
He's your guy.
Guy that I'm ready for him to cut. Like, he's next. Like, Vlad had been that guy, but that's a very mainstream pick. But that's been the guy that I've been excited about for the longest. The next one, and we'll keep bringing,
Yeah,
we'll talk MLB prospects too.
My excitement right now is for Dylan Cease. I mean, granted, it's a homer pick because he's in the White Sox farm system, but the dude throws 96, 97. He's got a devastating curveball. Can't wait for him to come up. So he's my next big prospect watch.
What's his name?
Dylan Cease.
We'll talk about him too.
Yeah, he's gonna be nasty. And the White Sox, we could have an entire podcast just on my take about how prospects in the minor league system should work, but that's an argument for a whole other day.
That's for the black day in the middle of the summer when there's nothing on outside of on the opposite ends of
after the NBA draft
and the
before
MLB
NFL starts.
In MLB All-Star Weekend.
Yep, pretty much. We could definitely talk about that because
there's nothing going on there.
I say bring them all up, man. Fuck the time stuff, but like I said, let's get into that later. We don't have to worry about that right now.
Today, and all right, so our producer made a point last week when we were talking about the Cubs that we're going to talk about them too much, and I think that it's funny and actually a good idea because you're a White Sox stan, so to have an actual Cubs watch, I think that's important because a lot of people watch the Cubs.
Can we put it right here? And then Cub
today.
Like a ticker above the top of the podcast, like Cubs watch, and then it's like what they're doing, like actual fucking ESPN ticker.
So today on the Cubs watch, they are 11-10.
It's fine. Stay right around 500.
Just make you think you have a chance.
Be average.
Some important news on them. Addison Russell, who was suspended. Now, again, that's another thing that we're not condoning his suspension, but we are reporting that he is set to play seven games in the minors. So he is on the road to returning from that domestic violence case, which was not good. No. Not a good look.
But it's the Cubs. What do you expect?
You like that, actually.
I don't like it. I don't condone it.
You don't condone it, but it's the Cubs, so you're good.
Yeah. You shouldn't.
I
say kick him out of the league.
Yeah, well,
put your hands on a woman.
Second chances.
I might have said something at the beginning of this podcast that goes against what I'm saying now in direct contradiction, but
he's on the Cubs.
This is a different situation.
Where he's on the Cubs.
I don't care about the Chiefs. They don't fall into my hated or liked team. They're a neutral ground. The Cubs fall into the Packer territory.
Pure hatred.
Exactly. So, completely different situation.
Either way, Addison Russell, he's making his way back.
Yeah.
Also, Cubs watch. Jose Quintana. It's Jose, right?
It's Jose. I got nothing bad to say about him.
No, he's been an admirable pitcher his whole career.
He is a Southsider. He put in some good years for us. You know, he was part of the Eloy Jimenez trade the Eloy Jimenez and Dylan Cease trade. We got both of them from the Cubs for Quintana. So I got nothing bad to say about the guy. I've always liked him.
At this point, that trade has paid off for both sides.
I would say so.
He's pitching.
I would actually say the Cubs probably think they got less of it, but he's been pitching well lately. So
he has been pitching well. He had that crazy liner that he caught right back at. It was scary, man. That's dude. Talk about playing football in the pros. I thought I could. Fuck that.
Bellinger
play baseball in the pros.
Tittied
like
on that ball.
You gotta catch that, bro.
That ball was pooted on.
Smoked. And he just
absolute
gloved it.
Cock shot, rocket right back at Jose Quintana.
Jose Quintana's 3-1. His ERA is 3.21. So he's pitching well for the Cubbies.
Let's get. I mean, granted, I don't wish anything bad on Jose, but let's get that ERA closer to 4. Or let's just do what the Sox did to him for his entire career and let him throw fucking a 3.2 ERA for the rest of the year. Give him 7 wins and like 27 no decisions because we were really good at that. It's like this is supposed to be Cubs Watch. I'm supposed to hate them and I talk shit on my own team.
That's why we have Cubs Watch.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining Cubs Watch today.
Fuck.
We're going to horribly segue right into the NBA.
The segue's fine.
Thanks.
Right into the NBA. Here we go.
The NBA playoffs are kind of...
go ahead. I just realized we could have segued into like something totally related to what we did with MLB, and we missed it.
Go ahead, do it.
Segueing into the NBA now, and keeping on par with something we've talked about in just about every single section thus far, Luke Walton, accused of sexual assault.
Now we understand why he got fired because it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. Like with Magic stepping down, like that was the whole thing. Magic wanted to pick his own coach. The Lakers stood by Luke Walton. Magic stepped down, and then this came out, and that's why he was let go.
Are you assuming? Is that your guess of the situation?
I mean, I'm fairly certain that's how it unfolded.
I don't know how it unfolded. There's so many damn sexual assault accusations nowadays. I honestly don't even know how to feel about them anymore. I take them all with a grain of salt because I'm not gonna.
Both parties are always at fault. Let's just blame both parties,
right?
And not touch it. Because
I will never take a woman's, accusation and shit on it.
Like you can't take that lightly.
Yeah, exactly. I will never say that, it didn't happen or that she's lying. And I also am not a person who is, guilty before innocence. I think you're innocent before you're guilty. So it's a tough subject for me. We both have sisters, obviously. So we have women in our family. So like I said, I don't like to discredit the woman who's accusing him, and I also don't like to label convict him before there's any proof of it actually happening. So
you just kind of have to let it go.
Yeah,
it is what it is. But it makes sense as to why the Lakers have.
That's a fairly decent.
I think all of that kind of transpired all at the same time. I think that if this news would have broke on him a week or two earlier, that Magic would probably still be there.
I don't know.
Is my thinking on that? Although
Magic
did distance himself,
kind of was over it.
But he also knew that Luke was going to stay, I think. And that kind of did the whole
I'm
thing.
sure it's going to come out eventually. So, maybe you'll have the right prediction there.
We'll see.
I give it plus 225. That's my odds. Plus 225.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I think it's fair.
I made it up, so yeah, you gave me 2-1 odds of something that I made up. So maybe it has legs. Even still, it's not a direct quote. So.
Or is it?
Yeah, maybe it is. We don't know.
Undercover source.
However, with that happening, obviously the Lakers are looking for a new job. Last episode we talked, we're interviewing Ty Lue. It's come out over the last day or so that they are interviewing Jason Kidd now as well, which I think that's from a basketball, like a player standpoint, Jason Kidd was a far superior player than Tyronn Lue.
Did Jason Kidd ever throw in a layup underhand from the free throw line?
No, but Jason Kidd also never got stepped over by Allen Iverson either.
Touche. Yeah. But at the same time, he didn't do finger roll from the free.
Ty Lue has rings as a player and as a coach. Jason Kidd has a better NBA playing career. Jason Kidd laid the foundation for
The Bucks.
the Bucks, how they're doing right now.
Did he though?
I mean, all right. So
Or was he the hindrance?
All right,
of
and that's the way to
Bucks?
look at it. Like where, and another guy that I've talked about for the Lakers job, you run into trouble because they want the homegrown, they want the Lakers blood, which is why I don't think Jason Kidd will be the answer, even though he's not a bad fit.
I think he's I would actually go on record as saying I think Jason Kidd is a better fit than Tyronn Lue. Coaching-wise.
Except you know how they're gonna deal with Ty Lue and LeBron. They know each other, so there's that, which does not bode well for Jason Kidd.
No, it does
in
not.
my opinion. Jason Kidd, was he more of the hindrance, or was he more of a Mark Jackson type, where Mark Jackson kind of got Steph ready to go?
But see, people would say that Mark Jackson was the hindrance. It wasn't until Steve Kerr got in there that all of a sudden the Warriors finally embraced,
Yeah, but dude,
Kerr's system and his philosophy, and became the Warriors that we know.
But dude, Steph was hurt for 3 years. He was still a baby.
Steph
he
couldn't
didn't
stop getting hurt.
Turn into
Mark
a
Jackson
man.
years.
All of a sudden, Steve Kerr gets all the credit for that. But Steph was finally a man. A man wasn't getting hurt.
God, the dude's ankles were like
So
keeper straws.
I don't know. I think that Mark Jackson is another guy that should be considered. If you're going to consider Jason Kidd,
I think
you
Mark
have to
Jackson's a good coach. I think
Mark Jackson.
If I went Mark Jackson, Jason Kidd, Tyronn Lue, and I ranked them by how
think
good
you have
the
to
coach
rank
they
them
are,
like that.
I think Mark Jackson's definitely the best. I mean, he had good seasons with the Warriors. He just didn't have, what they have now.
Yeah,
obviously.
So LeBron being in the picture makes the whole thing difficult.
I think Tyronn Lue's the one that is going to go with. It's LeBron's dude, and they're going to get LeBron's guy. It's just what's going to happen. They're going to go after Anthony Davis in the offseason, and
they shouldn't.
That's what they're going to do.
I know. I don't want them to. But I would say Ty Lue's probably minus 200 to land this job.
Yeah.
Those odds are actually probably out and posted somewhere. If we find a clip, we'll put that up on the
we'll put a little thing right here.
Just whatever the lines are for Lakers' potential coach. That's probably out. Moving on, NBA news. Blake Griffin, he gave it a hell of an effort against Milwaukee. You just can't beat Giannis on one leg, man.
Yeah,
he had one leg. He had nothing left in that leg.
And the Pistons just don't have anything to combat the
Blake
the
can't
Bucks.
do it all, and he's also at the point in his career where
he is
while he is on that level of being a superstar, he certainly can't do it alone. Nobody can. And he's never been a guy that's made it through an entire season clean. So without having any help
with the injuries
and then being hurt and then doing it on one leg,
and I love how
props to him, but at the same time, I don't think anybody's surprised. I'm happy that he'll be ready for camp.
Yeah.
With this knee surgery, it's not too serious.
And props to him too for how he handled the media. I don't know if you read anything.
I didn't
into that.
actually get any of that.
So
go ahead, dive into that, please.
He, post game after they were eliminated, he went out, talked to the media, and actually after his interviews were done, he went around and he shook the hand of everybody in the room, just because of how much flack the media has been getting lately, especially after the Paul George, Russell Westbrook interview, and not to harp on them because I dislike Westbrook, but I mean, I say all the time that he's an asshole, and you did it again. But
I'm the biggest piece of shit today.
But the media's job is to go into the press conference room and ask questions, whether you like them or not as an athlete. That's their job, and they asked legitimate questions to Russell Westbrook the other day, and he kept saying
he didn't like it.
No, no comment, no comment, no comment. That's just a piece of shit move. Answer the fucking question, dude. Stop being a bitch.
It's like the Marshawn Lynch thing.
No, Marshawn Lynch was dope when he did it.
Yeah, but
they were forcing him to go and do the interviews that he didn't want to do.
Yeah, but he's required to. It's his job.
Yeah.
It's like your job is to do this podcast right now. If you came here and said, I'm here so I don't get fined, what would happen to you?
I'd get fined.
You probably wouldn't be on a podcast anymore. That wouldn't even be my decision.
But at least...
And same goes for me, too. So, when you go into your respective field, you should answer the questions professionally. And regardless of whether or not you like them, you signed up for this.
But Marshawn Lynch usually does. I mean, he does a lot. Marshawn Lynch does a lot for his community. Marshawn Lynch does a lot, when it comes to marketing and whatnot. He was always in commercials and all that stuff. He's never been big on
media.
Never. And Russell Westbrook can't say that same thing.
It's true.
Only
he
been
likes
more
being
recent.
in the limelight. It's just when people are calling him out and people are realizing that he's an imposter.
Exactly.
Where he gets all butthurt about
You could go back to fucking when Marshawn Lynch was at Cal. Marshawn Lynch did not like talking to the media.
And this little Marshawn Lynch plug is solely because we missed him in the NFL, and he is actually retired as of today, I believe. He did hang them up. And I thought that he'd make it to Vegas, but apparently not.
It's okay. I mean, he only went to Oakland because he wanted to play in his hometown, so I can't blame him for that.
No,
dude.
it's okay. It was a great career, man.
Yeah, he had a great career. I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Entertaining, and I think you have to put him in the Hall, man.
I think he's going to go.
When you have the most memorable run of all time and the most memorable quote from any of the media.
Darren Sharper, hold my dick.
What?
Remember, wasn't it? It was Darren Sharper. It was
Gotcha. Yeah,
He jumped in,
he jumped
he
and grabbed his
fucking
dick
grabbed his
after he had the beast mode run that caused an earthquake.
Yeah.
It was the most amazing
It's
run.
like Darren Sharper, hold my dick.
It's like there's a Asher Roth song that is called Blunt Cruising. And like Blunt Cruising. And
When
then
he's on the fucking riding the car to Cal.
Yeah, and then there's a point in the song where he's like, "Oh shit, we got pulled over," and then they're like, the music goes all crazy, and he's like, "Boom, boom, 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 had the weed."
Oh, yeah, Marshawn Lynch.
That's what that brought me up.
He'll be missed, dude. He'll be missed.
I agree. Back into NBA real quick. D'Angelo Russell has stated D'Angelo Russell, who had a phenomenal year this year, finally
what he was expected to do out of college,
really balled out. He wants to return to the Nets and actually build something the right way, the Dan Tops way.
More power to him.
Yeah, you fully support that move. I know you do.
100%.
Because you're not a fan of jumping ship. Like if he were to go back to the Lakers, that'd be a great move for the Lakers. But
it would be.
He'd be chasing.
He would be. And I'm a full, we just stated before.
Build from within.
Exactly. Not to say don't go out and get free agents. If and I'm a proponent of get your money too. If your team's not going to pay you, by all means, if you want to get more money, go out and get your money. It's the KD thing. It's the call up your best friend and go play with them thing. I'm not about that life, but I love that move, dude. Brooklyn had a great season. They made the playoffs.
They were excited.
He had a fantastic
I wanted
season.
them to beat the Sixers, man.
Yeah, they could only. He's young.
They can build.
They can build
the
around
Lakers really could have used him instead of trading Brook Lopez for him.
That's true.
I think they got Josh Hart out of that deal.
Yeah.
So you get Josh Hart and a Brook Lopez rental, or you could have D'Angelo Russell take them to the playoffs.
In their defense,
hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, exactly. D'Angelo Russell, he had the whole social media thing or whatever, posted. Was it Caldwell Pope?
No, it was
Brandon Ingram.
It was Swaggy P.
Oh, that's right. It was Swaggy P.
You want to know a funny stat about Swaggy P? Swaggy P played a boatload of games with Kobe Bryant. Never had an assist to Kobe Bryant.
It's a great stat, but it almost doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't surprise me at all, but it just shows you exactly who Swaggy P is.
Because with Swaggy P,
he got it, he
much?
shot it.
That's also true.
Yeah, both of those things. Where are we at?
Where are we at?
Time-wise.
Oh, time-wise, we are at 22 minutes. Just
Let me just touch this real quick.
Rookie of the Year, the NBA.
It hasn't been announced yet.
2018-2019 season.
Yeah. I think that it should be. It should be a landslide. Now, there was a late push, and it was a hell of a push.
Trae Young.
Yes.
Yes, he did.
Late fucking push, man. Like, if he were to somehow edge it out,
I'd be mad.
Yeah.
I'd be mad. He doesn't deserve it. Like you said, it's a great push, and he had a fantastic season after having a pretty cold start.
A horrifically cold start, but he turned it around, and I'm excited for the future.
Yeah, I gotta say, I think I might have been wrong on Trae Young,
but he didn't do it from jump.
No, I thought that I was right on Trae Young. I said Trae Young was probably going to be one of the bigger busts of the season or of that draft class,
and he has totally not been.
No,
he showed that he can lead the team. He showed that he could shoot. He showed the stage isn't too big for him. He showed that the players around him are not too big for him.
Mm-hmm. He did a great job. But
however, the Rookie of the Year should be Luka Doncic.
Of course. 100%.
Not since... I can't think of a guy since LeBron that has come in and just totally taken control of a franchise and,
he is
and
the
dominated and done things for the team that don't show up on the stat sheet, which we talk about a lot. Those things are important.
Mm-hmm.
He's learning from Dirk and now matched with Porzingis.
Oof.
It's going to be exciting moving forward.
I'm calling it. They're getting Clay in the offseason. That's my big hot take.
That would
prediction.
be dirty. That would be dirty. If Clay leaves, he better go to the Lakers, man.
I could see that too.
Why would you leave if you're not going to the team your dad played? Like, why would you leave if you're not?
Because he wants to play with
Luka and Porzingis.
in the Porzingis.
Yeah, you can argue that. I'm not.
Just imagine that there's so much athleticism, size, defense, and shooting on that squad. God, I hope it happens. I'm speaking into existence. That's what I'm doing. All right. So finally, the biggest news that we have going into tomorrow is the NFL draft.
It's Thursday the 25th.
And as always, draft time is an exciting time for any NFL fans.
It's just a lot of stuff that's going on all the time, a lot of moving parts.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's curious to see what new treasures and bunk
You
they will uncover.
know, one good draft pick or one good draft day could completely revitalize a team or completely change around their season. You know, it could tell you if you were on the fringe, you could be in a playoff. You know, look at the Browns. One good draft or a whole bunch of drafts where you have number one picks. Eventually, you get it right, and you go 7-9.
The higher you're up,
or 7-8-1.
The harder it is to miss. But there's still a lot of teams that routinely draft bad.
Browns.
They've gotten better.
They have. The last couple of years have been pretty good.
The biggest storyline in the leading up to the NFL draft has obviously been Kyler Murray, and is he going to play baseball? Is he going to play football? He decided he's going to play football.
Lame.
Is he going to be the number one pick to his old coach?
God, I hope not.
What's his name? Cliff
Kingsbury?
Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, we're really looking at if that is that's the first domino. It's the biggest thing. You really feel strongly about.
I think that Kyler Murray's. I don't get the hype, dude. I just don't get the hype. I don't like Oklahoma. No, I got the Trae Young hype. Everybody was saying he was the next Steph. Like he could shoot it from deep. He was fucking dead red, pull it from 30 feet and sink it. Like Kyler Murray, he plays in the fucking worst conference in college football. I think the Big 12 is a joke. I think they should be completely eradicated from the Power 5. And
what are we gonna do? Put the Mountain West in there? Come on.
No, the Mountain West should be fucking Division 2. But that's besides the point. They should just be Power 4. Get rid of the Big 12. They're mid-major at best.
That's a smoking hot garbage take.
I don't even think
I've ever heard one.
I don't even think it's smoking hot in the slightest bit.
It's a garbage take.
Name any team since Nebraska left the Big 12 that's really been worth a damn.
Oklahoma the last 2 years.
Not last year. I can give you Baker Mayfield's year.
They went to the Natty last year, dude.
They're trash.
Anyways, let's not get hung up on this.
What Natty are you talking about?
Against Bama. Didn't they play Bama?
Natty?
No, they played Georgia in the semi.
They played Georgia in the semi.
And lost. My brain hurts.
Yeah, my brain hurts too. They didn't play in the championship.
Now we have to look.
Now we have to cut it.
Yep.
Because thought that they played Clemson? Because I thought Georgia played Alabama.
They must have played Clemson.
Were they in the Final Four?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, regardless, it doesn't take away from my take. They still shouldn't have been there. No, that's right. They weren't. Notre Dame was in the top 4 this year.
They didn't make it. That was the whole argument. Wow.
That's what I thought. You were tripping me out.
Sorry.
All right.
Anyways, even still.
Pick it up right now. I'm not a fan of the Big 12. I think that, like I said, they're mid-major level. I mean, they're like the best mid-major, but they are not Power 5. Every year, consistently.
You're looking at West Virginia, you're looking at Texas, you're looking at Kansas State, you're looking at Oklahoma.
Trash.
Oklahoma State.
Trash.
All these teams have been ranked.
Trash. They don't play anybody but other Big 12 teams. They lose to the ACC. They lose to the Big 10. They lose to the SEC.
So I guess the Big 10 is that much better than the Big 12.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh,
it's a different style of football.
I would rank.
There's also
the SEC.
There's also some scum in the in the Big Ten also.
Then it's the Big Ten.
Northwestern, Illinois.
Then it's the AC. Northwestern was ranked again this year. Northwestern's always ranked.
Yeah, well, so were those other
great squads.
So were those other teams in the Big 12.
Northwestern would beat the shit out of all those teams because Northwestern can do stuff that they can't do, which is play defense.
Northwestern would not have done anything to Oklahoma's Kyler Murray. Come on, dude, you're tripping.
Northwestern, you're right. They probably wouldn't have beat Oklahoma, but I think that they could have easily beaten just
Texas,
everybody
dude?
else in the Big 12.
You beat Kansas State, who was ranked?
Yes, 100%. 100%.
The games I've watched Northwestern, I've seen them score about 19 points in.
Yeah, and guess what? West Virginia and Texas, they're going to score 18 because they're playing a team that knows how to play fucking defense, unlike any other team in the Big 12. It's 54-48 fucking games in that goddamn conference. It's the SEC, then it's the ACC and the Big Ten. I think are neck and neck, at least on the top, the top end of the division.
I like the ACC over the Big Ten.
And then it's the Pac-12. And
I'll take the
Big 12.
I'll take the Big 12 over the Pac.
The Pac-12 has had a couple down years, but they're still, as a whole,
while we're
much better
right
than
here
Big
for 2 seconds, BYU hasn't beaten Utah in 10 years.
Oh, they really?
Yeah.
Stat of the day.
I like to bring them. What can I say?
You fucking nailed it there. I love the pun, baby. That's a good one.
Let's get back on track. The NFL draft. The biggest headline, obviously, Kyler Murray. You see what kind of just train wreck of a train ride we just went down talking about him. That's going to be the first domino. Is he going to go number one, or if he doesn't go number one, and you say a guy like Nick Bosa or Josh Allen go?
All the betting, all the sharps, all the bookies, the lines makers, they all got. It's like minus fucking it's like minus 2,500 right now.
That he's going.
That Kyler Murray's going number one. Those guys normally aren't wrong.
I remember when the whole thing happened with the Heisman and Tua and how Kyler snuck the Heisman. He backdoored his way in.
So I can't. I think he's got to be going to the Cardinals. I'm basing it off of strictly the lines.
So with that happening, then Josh Rosen, who was not used in any of the Cardinals' promotional footage for this coming season, he would be on the hot seat. He's been on the trade block now for a period of time, and we're looking now to see if Kyler's pick number one, where Josh Rosen ends up going.
My guess
we've been hearing Redskins.
That's my guess. I'm saying that you'll see the trade to the Redskins. I think that's the best fit for Rosen. I'm not basing this totally off of sources or off of what's actually going to happen. I think the best place for Josh Rosen to go is to go to Washington.
I think that's great as far as his ability to develop right away. Alex probably isn't going to be ready, but that'd be a great guy to be in his ear.
Alex isn't ready, but Alex will be on the sidelines. He can teach Josh Rosen a little bit about the game. And I wasn't huge on Josh Rosen last year coming out of UCLA. I thought he was a Josh Rosen fan. I thought he was the worst out of all the quarterbacks out of the draft last year,
except Lamar Jackson.
True. I didn't even consider him in the top quarterbacks last year.
He was in the wide receiver class for me.
Fair enough. But I think, exactly, he goes to the Redskins.
That's a good fit.
You have Alex Smith there to teach him up. And Alex Smith, great quarterback in my mind. I feel like he's always been a really good, solid game manager, going to get you your touch. He's going to get you your points. He's going to control the game, and he's going to give you a chance to win. I think that's a great person to teach Rosen. Then he has Geis in the backfield. He'll have, his receiver core is not too bad.
Right.
So I think that's a solid place for him to go.
Another potential destination that we could see Rosen going is the New York Giants. There's been a lot of information coming out that could be a guy that Dave Gettleman is kind of set on. Mm-hmm. Now, it's a weird triangle where, if Arizona goes quarterback and takes Kyler Murray, what's going to happen with Washington and the Giants? The Giants are at 6. They've been linked to a couple different quarterbacks, Dwayne Haskins and Daniel Jones.
And you were talking about
and I think
the Redskins actually trying to jump up in front of the Giants
to get Daniel Jones.
To get Daniel Jones.
I think at first, and you got to be careful draft time because of the smoke screens. It could just be a ploy for the Giants to get Washington to move up to take Daniel Jones so that they get Haskins at 6. But I don't think Haskins is the guy for them.
I honestly think Daniel Jones. I really don't like this upcoming quarterback class. And I've already made my my thoughts on Kyler Murray known. Go ahead, Cardinals. Draft Kyler Murray number 1, and guess what? You're gonna be irrelevant for the next 5 years again.
I think he could be pretty good. You have to tailor the game to him. He'll be able to dump the ball to David Johnson.
He's a more polished Lamar Jackson.
They made the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a different game. I'm a little bit more of a Kyler Murray fan.
Cardinals don't have an offensive line. Cardinals don't have a defense. Ravens have an offensive line. Ravens have a defense. Ravens have a run game. Cardinals have a run game, but David Johnson's getting a little older.
He's in the same draft as 1 year before Zeke.
Is he really that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
he's only like 25.
Yeah, running back expected projections are 3 years in the NFL.
So this quarterback class is So with Daniel Jones, he has serious connections with Eli Manning, and he's actually trained with him. So he's kind of become their little love child. I think that's what they're hoping for. Initially, I think they were planning on getting Daniel Jones at 17, but it looks like now they're going to have to either pull the trigger at 6.
He seems to be moving up the board a little bit, and I think it's just because he performed well at the games combine. Didn't he run a 4.69?
He's pretty athletic. I don't know exactly what the combine number was. He gets some flack from some of the people that I watch review the tape, but in the games that I saw him play, I actually came away a little bit more impressed with his ability to stand in there and make throws. Now, I
think he's my favorite out of this draft class.
And with the Eli Manning connection, it does make sense for him to go 6 now.
I don't know. I think the Giants are going to go Haskins. He's a New York guy. I think
that'd be a horrible idea.
Gettleman, that's like Haskins has that prototypical quarterback size. He's 6'4". He's a big dude. He can run with it. He can throw it the deep ball.
That's a misconception. He's actually fat. He can't run very well.
I know it's a misconception, but if you just look at it,
don't just say that he's fast and mobile because
if you looked at it objectively,
he played for Ohio State.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just saying if you look at it objectively, according to the tape, he's mobile, he can move, and he's big.
So this quarterback,
I'm not saying I like Haskins in the slightest.
This quarterback class is widely considered to be weaker than last year.
100%.
Last year you had Sam Darnold, you had Baker, you had Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and there was another one. Rosen. Yeah. Those are the 5. This year we're looking at Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, Drew Lock, and Daniel Jones. There's an outlier that could sneak in, but he's most likely going to be a day 2 or day 3 pick, and that is, do you know?
No.
JD, do you know?
Drew Lock's going to the Packers at 28.
Will Greer was the.
I love Will Greer.
He's kind of the sneaky.
That's who it is. So I read an article. This is the beautiful thing. Okay, out of all those quarterbacks you just named, I'm saying Kyler Murray, bust. I'm giving him a couple years. He's going to be a backup. He'll be like a Matt Leinart type, right? Just a backup for his entire career. Drew Lock, I really don't see him doing anything in the NFL.
They're likening him to Jay Cutler, actually.
Fuck yeah, go Drew Lock. Not going to happen. He's going to be the next Chase Daniel.
Dwayne Haskins.
Jamarcus
Russell.
Is it because you called him fat? But I agree. I don't think Dwayne Haskins is to be worth a damn. I think
he's got a better chance.
He's got the Ohio State padded stats.
He's got a better chance of being Jamarcus Russell than he does Donovan McNabb.
That's for damn sure. So yeah, high on Dwayne Haskins. I think Daniel Jones. I think he has the skill set to where he could actually be a decent NFL quarterback. But my man, Will fucking Greer,
Mr. PED himself.
Love that guy, and guess who's looking to draft him? Do you know?
The Bears?
No, we got Trubisky. I'm cool with that.
I mean, if you get him in the 3rd round, you'd be okay, though.
I know.
He knows.
Who?
Patriots.
It's the fucking Patriots, baby.
That would be cool.
I hate them. God, this is what I hate so much.
You know what's going to happen? The Patriots are just going to take Will Greer and get him ready.
Yeah,
and then Tom's still going to be there, and they're going to trade him for another 1st-round pick.
No,
what they're going to do.
Here's what's going to happen.
They're going to trade Will Greer for another 1st-round pick.
And this is why I fucking hate the Patriots so much. It's because they do such a great job of everything. I hate them. They draft well. They sign free agents well. They have a system that I know Demaryius Thomas is going there. Huge fucking signing.
And we were not sure about Josh Gordon last week, but he did sign his tender too. Now, what's going to happen with the NFL or not, we don't know. But he is back on the Patriots roster.
Well, that's good for him. Hopefully that works out. But they fucking
probably not
do
going to.
everything right. And the one quarterback that I liked watching the most, and I know I gave a lot of shit to the Big 12 because I hate the Big 12 and I think that they should be a mid-major conference at best. But Will Grier was the fucking man. I loved him in that fucking West Virginia-Texas game. That was epic.
When he broke his finger? Or are we talking about different
That
games?
was the year before.
before.
But the dude can throw it. The dude can run. He's mobile. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. And what better system for him to learn in but to sit behind Tom Brady, go get himself 2 more rings, and then take over the squad.
Right here. So we've got listed on here teams in need of a quarterback in round 1. So we've got the Raiders, the Giants, the Bengals, the Dolphins, the Redskins, and maybe he is the 5th quarterback to get snaked in the first round at 32 to the Patriots.
I said it last year, and I know we actually all as a group of friends said it when we were watching Georgia, and Nick Chubb and Sony Michel were splitting carries, and we would sit there like, why the fuck is Nick Chubb getting more carries than Sony Michel?
He had one of the best production rates of any running back this year.
Asked ourselves that question every fucking time we watched Georgia play, and look at who swooped in the back end of the first round, picked up Sony Michel, and Chris, can you tell me who won the Super Bowl?
It was the Patriots. And
And how did Sony Michel do in the playoffs?
He did really well, but he didn't catch a pass in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, sorry, Mr. Bonatoni. I know that one probably still hurts.
I had that action too. So.
Did you have it? Oh, God.
Yeah. It's okay.
PTSD, Vietnam flashback.
Stung me a little bit too.
He dropped like 2 passes too.
I know.
His fucking dad. Were you at the
No,
Super
but
party?
I had
His
it
dad's
and I was-
fucking yelling from the other room every time they pass it his way, and he fucking drops it. Because it was
It's
what,
like
1.5?
one reception or 1 reception yard.
It was 0.5 catches.
Yeah.
He just needed 1 fucking catch, and he dropped 2 in his hands.
Yeah. All right. So that highlights kind of the quarterback situation. We're just kind of blow through some of these other first round potential picks that, maybe guys that are likely to be drafted in the first round by position. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The defensive front is the strength of this entire draft class. We're looking at the first 3 of the first 4 guys most likely being
Defensive
linemen or edge guys.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are Nick Bosa from Ohio State.
Brother of Joey Bosa.
Yep. Quinnen Williams,
The end from.
D tackle, or he could be a 3 or 5 tech.
He could be a 3 or 5 tech and a 3-4.
Probably not a nose guy.
No, he's not a nose.
But we're looking at a 4-3 D tackle or
Clemson.
a D end. I think he's Bama.
Oh shit! Yeah, my fault.
No, we're not there yet.
That's my favorite.
The other
guy,
guy, the most intriguing guy, Quinnen Williams is. Oh no.
No, the Clemson guy. That's why, because their names are damn near the
Christian
same.
Wilkins.
Christian Wilkins is my favorite.
Right. All right, so back up here.
But back to
the top 3 of the top 4 guys: Nick Bosa, Quinnen Williams, the D tackle, and my favorite guy, my favorite pass rusher, defensive lineman here, is Josh Allen. He's he could be a force. He's a physical specimen. He produced in the SEC.
Yes, he did
for Kentucky.
Kentucky. Let's put it this way: a Kentucky team that hasn't been. You don't talk about when it comes to football season.
No, but
they were relevant last year.
They did have a very good year.
They were relevant.
He was the catalyst for it. He made a lot of plays. Like I look at him and I see Khalil Mack in his game.
Yeah, he reminds me of like a Jadeveon Clowney.
He's not that big and dominant.
He's not that big, but his style and the way he was able to take a team and lead them is what I get from him.
If you're looking for pro comparisons, he's more Khalil Mack. He's more DeMarcus Ware. He's going to be that edge guy that could play the 3-4 standing up. He can drop into pass coverage, but he's really going to make his money going after the quarterback.
Yeah,
that's what he's going to do. So look for a team with 3-4 to go after him. Any of those 3 picks, any of those 3 guys in the top 5 would be a win for the franchise.
Yeah,
I would say.
To jump a little bit further down, the mistake that I made earlier, my favorite D lineman. Now, granted, I think you're right. I think you hit the nail on the head with all 3 of these. I think all 3 are surefire picks. I don't think any of the 3 will be a bust by any means.
You could flip coins and
I think be okay.
With any 3 of those guys.
But personally, if
you're outside the top 5,
not even outside, even if I was top 4, I was most impressed with Christian Wilkins. every time, and I'm not an ACC fan, I'm not a Clemson fan, but Clemson being as good as they are, they're always on TV. I swear, every game I watched, I said the same thing over and over and over again to myself. Who the fuck is number 42? Because he is in there every play. I'm pretty sure he's the 3 tech on their squad on Clemson. The dude, he's just in the backfield all the time, man. He's
really solid, and I think that a guy that is almost right there with him, but took a big hit, is Dexter Lawrence.
Mm-hmm. Well, he played alongside him.
He played alongside him. He wasn't able to play in the tournament in the playoffs because he got suspended for PEDs.
Mm-hmm.
So his draft stock took a hit. He's somebody day 2. I could definitely see Dallas taking a shot on him.
Dallas loves those guys.
I know they do. This guy, if he's still there at 58, this guy has Dallas Cowboys screaming all over him.
This is how I feel like Jerry Jones sits in the draft room.
Which guy's gonna cause me the most?
He's got the
trouble.
scouting report, and then he has the police report,
and he gets them confused all the time.
Okay, well, we got him 5th on our board, but he's got 2 convictions and a PED
He's
suspension.
number 1.
We need this fucking guy.
He's gonna bring the right attitude to it. But he had in round 2, he's got Cowboys on his he screams Dallas Cowboys.
I'll be sad if he goes to the Cowboys because I'm not a Cowboys fan, and
no, but he's a guy that can help the Bears in round 2.
It's right, and I don't wish well on the Cowboys, but they have a fantastic defense, and that man would make their defense that much better.
Yes, it would. And their defense is they just got Robert Quinn.
What did they?
He's gonna play opposite DeMarcus Lawrence.
Fucking Christ.
That defensive line is serious. The Cowboys' defense has finally arrived, man. This whole time,
yeah,
they've got defensive backs galore.
No, they got a solid defense.
Their 2 starting backers, Jalen Brown and Van Der Esch, are young terrors.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Lee leading them.
It's a damn shame that Sean Lee's going to lose. They need to reinvent their defense so that Sean Lee can get more playing time.
Dude, they need to play a 5-3.
They really do.
They have so many D linemen and so many backers that are solid. But Sean Lee will help. He'll play.
No, he's going to make Van Der Esch even better. And
I don't even know if he's going to play in nickel, man.
No, I don't think he will.
I don't think you take him off. I think you have to take
Van
him
Der
off
Esch
the
stays
field.
on the field.
Yeah, he did last year, but Sean Lee was hurt. Sean Lee's coming back, so he'll probably play in base, but then passing downs, Jalen and Van Der Esch. I mean, that's going to be it. This is the first year we haven't had a bell cow running back in a while in the first round. A surefire running back that we know this guy is going in the top 10. Last year we had Barkley. The year before that, I don't know, but year before that it was Zeke and Gurley.
You had Zeke, Fournette, then you had Gurley.
So that's what it was. Gurley, Zeke, Fournette.
Yeah. Barkley.
You've
always had one, that top dog that, everybody was kind of banking
We don't
on.
have that this year.
I wouldn't consider Josh Jacobs, who is the only guy that's projected to go in the first round, to be that guy.
No. But he's going to be good, but, he might give you a Derrick Henry type of.
I don't know. I don't see it.
Derrick Henry might finally get used this year too.
He had a decent year last year, but watching Alabama play as much as I have to, even though I'm not an Alabama fan either because they're always on TV. I think he's a formidable running back. I think he'll work great in a system. He'll be a great third down back. He's a great short yardage back. He's big. He's powerful.
But he's not a change your offensive game plan type back
he's
like
not
those other guys that
He's not a Todd Gurley.
He's not.
He's not a Zeke.
He's not Fournette. He's not Barkley.
No,
he's not that.
No, not at all.
He's not even.
He's not even a
He's not even Sony Michel.
No, Sony Michel. Draft him on your fantasy squad. He's gonna have another big year.
Just to get through a couple more of these positions here, we're cutting it close on time. First round prospects at receiver, the physical freak himself. I'm very interested to see where DK Metcalf ends up going. Mm-hmm. He's the most physical specimen at receiver we've seen.
Good Lord.
Probably since Calvin Johnson. Now, I've seen him run routes too. That's a whole huge separate question.
The intangibles are there.
The attributes, the intangibles are there, but is he going to be able to break down the defensive back? Mm-hmm. Is he going to be able to get the hip shift change?
Is he going to be running nice tight routes?
Is he going to eat guys up, or is he going to have to fight for every single catch that he makes?
Yeah.
And that's the difference between big bodied receivers or like Kelvin Benjamin or somebody who is able to actually break down the defensive back and create some space like a guy like Jordy Nelson or something.
We'll see. He's young. Time will tell. We'll see where he gets drafted, what system he gets put into, who's going to be throwing on the ball. That's a big thing because if the quarterback can't throw him open, then it doesn't matter how good of a route you run in the first place. So we'll see how it works. But he's got all the attributes and intangibles. That's for damn sure.
Other names to look at: Marquise Brown.
Mm-hmm.
You got anything on him?
No.
N'Keal Harry, A.J. Brown.
I think A.J. Brown.
A.J. Brown's a beast.
Yeah, A.J. Brown's the one guy.
He might be. He's the most ready today. DK Metcalf scares me.
DK Metcalf.
Like
if we're talking ceiling, if we're talking possibility of where they could end up,
he's got to be on the top of the list.
Yes,
but
100%.
Tomorrow, if I got to go win a playoff game tomorrow, I'd take A.J. Brown off this list.
Exactly. That's I have to agree with that.
All right,
you'd be taking a chance going with DK Metcalf. If DK turns out to be what his ceiling could be, then you take him all day, but you just don't know. A.J. Brown, he's going to be a solid NFL wide receiver.
Take tight ends?
Say what?
Tight ends.
Tight ends? All I need to tell you is...
Iowa is a hotbed.
Yeah. Iowa.
Jesus.
Good Lord. You got Noah Fant and T.J. Hockenson? How do you say his last name?
Hockenson.
That's right. I always fuck up his last name.
They're both gonna be first round guys.
They both can be first round guys, but
top 20.
T.J. Hockenson is by far the
most ready.
Yes.
I mean, he most ready tight end. I don't think
he's big. He's physical. He can block. He can catch.
He
can run routes.
Ready tight end since Gronk.
Yeah.
And Gronk was a third round pick. It's how the tight end position is becoming seriously valued if you can do everything. His game reminds me a lot of Jason Witten.
That's high praise.
It's a very high ceiling for him to get there, but if you're trying to mold guys, and I think that's the biggest thing in the NFL that's fun when looking at draft prospects is how do these guys compare to guys that have done it before. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you're going to get Jason Wittens out of Hockenson, he's a surefire top,
and Noah
Fant pick.
And Noah Fant is no slouch either.
No, different type of guy though. He's more of an inline vertical guy where Hawkinson's going to run a little bit better route, but both can catch the ball, both can block. Fant's got a little more speed, but Hawkinson's polished, man.
Let's put it this way: both guys can go into your offense tomorrow and be
help you
tight end ones by far.
Yes, they can.
And then the sleeper, the guy on the outside,
the other tight end that could make it.
Irv Smith
into the first round from Bama.
From Bama, and I like Irv Smith.
He's more in the Noah Fant mold.
I think he works well with Tua. That's why Irv Smith has gone up the draft boards.
He runs runs a 4.5. He's a
big
guy.
He runs a great 40. He's fast. He's physical. He's big. Catch the ball. He'll another guy that could go in day one and be play a significant role in your offense.
Yep. All these picks, first round picks, you want to hit on them. Like they all should help your team right away. Very rarely are we taking a first round player and looking at him as a future player. Like you're going to want to take him, plug him, and play him. Let's blow through these real quick. At corner, we're looking at Greedy Williams from LSU, DeAndre Baker from Georgia, and the guy with the most fun name in the draft. He's my personal favorite, Rock Ya-Sin from Temple. I think that he could ultimately be the best cornerback. He also could be the first one off the board, but that's really kind of up in the air.
Yeah, DeAndre Baker is, I think, the most solid one coming out, but I think the DB to look at that is going to go later, my sleeper pick of the draft, is fucking Amani Hooker. I think the safety out of Iowa he played like a hybrid position at Iowa. He can come down, play the box. He can come down, play tight ends. He could play the slots, and he can play deep coverage.
Marquise Hooker's brother, right? For the Colts.
If it is, I don't know.
So just a couple more positions. Inside linebacker, stack linebacker is not very deep. You're looking at the two Devons, Devin White from LSU, Devin Bush from Michigan. Both those guys White's probably a first-round guy. Bush, he might climb up in there.
He might first, second.
Safety's deep, although there's not a superstar. Nasir Adderley, Jonathan Abram. That's pretty much it.
Which leads us to today's biggest piece of shit.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
And most of the time we have fun with the biggest piece of shit, but we're not having fun with the biggest piece of shit today because the biggest piece of shit is...
We're still crying.
Yeah. It's the fucking referees that were on the ice. It's the fucking referees that were in Toronto. It's the NHL as a whole.
It's the NHL.
Fuck them.
We're going to end it on that.
Bullshit.